I'm kind of talking to myself. So I'm just going to adjust the angle because it's never quite right. I think, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? Tip it up a little bit, I think. And we'll tip it up a little bit. And hopefully someone will show up so I'm not talking to myself. It's like really embarrassing. It's like really cringe to be talking to yourself. So, but such is life. Sometimes these things happen. Getting a bit warm. Hopefully someone will watch this back. So at least then I'm not talking to myself. If you're watching this back, leave me a comment and let me know that I wasn't talking to myself. Sorry for showing off my flabby arms, but I'm just a bit warm. Feel a bit warm, and you can see this in the background, which is something I might be talking about in a little bit. Okay, I actually have people here now, so I feel better. Thank you for those of you that are here. Someone's even liked the stream. That's quite amazing. I suspect it might be someone I know. If you are here, even if you feel a little bit shy, do give me a little indication that you're here. Whether that's an emoji, an emoji of your favourite food is always a good one. Hello, Louisa. Louisa sent hello, nice to see you. Thank you for being here. And I'm just going to do a quick one because I'm a bit tired. I've just not long finished work, and then I've got work again tomorrow, so I'll be going to bed quite early. I just thought I would get on to show you something new that I've bought that arrived today, and maybe talk a little bit about vintage perfumes, because that's something that I'm really deep diving into at the moment. So if anyone is into vintage perfumes, let me know. Let me know if you have a favourite vintage as well. And at the moment I've got one on its way. I was supposed to be on a no buy till July. That was my plan. And just couldn't quite stick to it. So I have a vintage perfume en route, and I think I'll tell you what it is. It is called Eau de Joie. Eau de Joie. So it's a Jean Pateau fragrance. I'm not sure what the age of it is. I don't think it's mega old, but it might be maybe 10, 15, something like that years old. I don't really know. I'm not sure about the whole history of Eau de Joie when it initially came out, and then how many different variations there were. So once I've got it in front of me and I can see the details and batch codes and all of that sort of stuff, then I can hopefully figure out roughly how old it is. I'm really finding vintage perfumes and the history of perfume quite interesting at the moment, and which is why I have all these books here. So over the years I've got a few perfume books, and where I've got into the vintage perfumes, I've started to sort of flick through the different books to find as many reviews and write-ups and as much information on certain older perfumes. And that's why all these books are out. I think I might have just said that. Hey John, good to see you. Evening Smurfy crew. So yeah, I've got all these books. I might talk about them in a bit. We've got some really good books here. This isn't about reviews, this one. It's by Karen Gilbert, and it's actually about making perfume and making perfumed stuff. And I just saw in here there's a recipe to make a solid perfume, and all you need is beeswax and jojoba oil, which is really easy to get hold of. So I might attempt to make some solid perfumes, but you know, it's one of those things. When do you get around to these things? This book, I just started reading some of it. This is the kind of book I like to read from front to back, whereas these other books are more just jump into the particular fragrance you want to read about. So these are coconut perfumes, and they've got different little sort of write-ups about different perfumes. But this book is really sort of like the beginning of modern perfumery from the 1900s, and then it just takes you through on a journey, also mentioning key perfumes of those particular decades and what was affecting things that might affect the perfumes. So whether there was a depression on, or whether it was swinging 60s, that kind of thing, what kind of perfumes people were wearing, and the way that perfumery was going, and all the different directions that perfumery's taken over the years. I started reading this, so the thing I've been researching is joy, and obviously because of eau de joy, and also I've been trying to find out a bit more about Chanel number 22, and it's actually number 22 that has got me on to this whole vintage rabbit hole, isn't it? It's a rabbit hole. It's a bloody rabbit hole, it is. Hey Valentina, hello everyone. 4 of us. I think we have more now. Oh, we have 14. Okay, that's great. Hello everyone. If you're shy, just a little tiny emoji of a cupcake. I don't have. Is there a cupcake? There's a birthday cake, but a donut. You can definitely do a donut. If you are a donut, if you consider yourself a donut, then I would like to see a donut emoji from you. David, hello, David Santiago. And John says, talking of vintage, obviously it's not the vintage original, but I'll be sending you some of Amouage Gold Man Claire Pear at some point if you've not tried it. Oh, that would be lovely, thank you. I did have a sample of Amouage Gentleman's Cologne, which Rich Mitch sent me, and that was a really vintage aldehyde. It smelled like what you would expect a lady to wear in 1920s or 30s, and that was fascinating, but I used up the last of that sample and you can't get that one anymore, but thank you, John, that would be great. David says, I love the lighting, looks as if Claire is underwater. Yeah, it's this crackle lamp. I always have to mention yeah, this crackle lamp, the outside of the light is crackle glass, and then it kind of like spills out all these little strange, I don't know what you call them, rays of light. JC is here. Hey JC, and John has given us some food emojis, which is great. Nothing sweet though, so it's savoury kind of a thing going on there, John. So welcome to my live stream, everyone. I appreciate you being here. I would like to let you know, because I've been forgetting to do this lately, that there are emergency exits. We have one over here, one over here. If you feel in any kind of panic and you need to leave, you can just leave and I won't be offended, but I'd love you to stay and I would love you to say hi. So that's it. And obviously I do need to check you off the register, so you're going to need to sign in some way or other. You need to sign in. Embrace the Mermaid or the Comet. Comet. I need to do my review of Comet. It's going to probably be an unpopular opinion kind of review. I don't dislike it, but it didn't really rock my world. And I almost thought about blind buying it when there was a discount at John Lewis. Almost, because I was so stupidly keen to try it. And I'm so glad I didn't. But I have my large decant. I need to give it more of a chance. But for now, it's just like, it's nice enough, but I don't think it shines against the other Chanel Les Exclusif. I'm not drunk, by the way. I am still sober and I am on tonic water. What are you all drinking or eating? Let me know. Polite answers only. JC, how are you? I'm good, thank you very much, if I didn't already say that. Barb Bright, hey Barb Bright, is that an ice cream? Ooh, yummy. Tracy's here, hi all, as we exit. Hit the like too, yes Tracy, thank you, do that. On the way out, hit the like button, or even on the way in, or anywhere in between. Tracy says, I love Comet, find it so warming and a tad addictive. I do enjoy the almondy note in the opening, but it's just a little bit much for me, I think. But it's nice. Valentina says milk oolong with cocoa nibs. Oh, that's a little bit posh. And JC, I'm drinking water. Very healthy, got to stay hydrated. Is here. Hello, she says. And Louisa loves Comet too. David, can't drink anything interesting yet, still at work. Oh, you can always have a nice coffee. Coffee's always good. Coffee makes me happy. I would have a coffee now, but I've got to go to bed soon, and it's not conducive, is it? It's not conducive to a good sleep. So, shall I tell you what I bought now? I don't know if any of you know. I think Valentina knows. Oh, it's big. I got a big one. Who's got a big one? Do you want to see how big mine is? It's huge. I mean, it's really huge. I'm going to shake it off camera. Can you hear it? I don't think you're supposed to shake perfume. Thank you, JC. Right, are you ready? You ready for the big reveal? What is it? Can you see it? It's numero 22 off of Les Exclusives, off of Chanel. Massive 200ml bottle. Isn't it nice? Isn't it lovely? Look at the size of it. It's almost as big as my nose. It's huge. So don't know that. I'm not sure I'm doing it justice in comparing it to my body parts, but trust me, it's huge. Of course, you all know what the 200ml looks like. I'm sure some of you have got them as well, but I think is it my first 200ml? I might have had a 200ml that I decanted most of out and then sold it back many, many years ago. It's a big bottle. 22 on my wish list, says Louisa. As soon as I realised I needed it, I really needed it. It's one of those absolutely had to have, was completely obsessed. And it just arrived today. And it was such a strange thing because aldehydes, this is very aldehydic. And I'm sure everyone knows what aldehydes are, but just in case anyone doesn't, they're the typical Chanel. They're in Chanel number 5. That's where they're most famous for. They do come in different forms, so they're not always exactly like they are in Chanel number 5. But generally speaking, they give you kind of like a champagne bubbly like effect, quite sort of sharp, fizzy, but they can also go soapy and I find waxy as well. So it depends. Different kind of aldehydes, I think, do different things. So they can sort of cause like a soapy or almost like a laundry soap kind of effect as well. And I've always been a little averse to aldehydes in strong doses. I don't mind a small amount sometimes. But I've always felt like they just make everything feel so old-fashioned because I just connect aldehydic stuff with Chanel number 5. And Chanel number 5 is, it was a fragrance born in 1920. And was it 21? Might be 21. 1920 or 21. So you will probably all know. But it's a very early 1920s fragrance. So, of course, it has a bit of a dated vintage feel. And I've always felt like it was too sharp, too heavy, too much Chanel number 5, and I've always associated lots of aldehydes with Chanel number 5, which therefore put me off most aldehydic type fragrances. And then I think we're going to blame Super Decob. There's a few people responsible, I think, here for this. And we're going to start with blaming Super Decob because I don't know how it all started. He might have just mentioned 22 in one of his list videos. And I remember hearing ilang ilang. Mana mana. Ilang ilang. I remember hearing ilang ilang and thinking, well, all I smell, when I've smelt it in the shop and I've only ever gone like this, very aldehydic. And that's it, because it's totally not for me. So that's enough. That's all I need to know. Super Decob mentioned ilang ilang, mina mina, and a vanilla, an incense. And I thought, well, there must be more to this perfume than just the aldehydes. And I should give it a chance. And so that was it. And then Super Decob has these mega long live streams where he celebrated number 22 on its 100th on the birthday of 100 years. And And that was fascinating, and I loved hearing him talking about all the different variations of 22, and looking at the different colours of the liquid. As it's on the older batches, it's gone more orangey, reddy. And of course, it used to be an eau de toilette before it was the eau de parfum. And then, of course, go way back, there's been different formulations like eau de cologne, eau de toilette. There's a pure parfum, probably different versions of pure parfum over the years. I don't know, but but I just got really interested, and so I took myself off to Blue Water and sprayed it at the perfume counter. Chanel, sprayed it on my wrist, walked away. I thought at first, yeah, it's quite aldehydic. Let's see what happens. And then as time went by and it warmed up, and it really warms up, so it starts off kind of crisp, clean, a little soapy, a little bubbly, maybe not quite as intense and heavy as number 5, but definitely very much that kind of like fizzy aldehyde thing going on. Floral, but you know, the aldehydes really are the thing in the beginning, the very main act. And then as time went by on my arm, I'm noticing that it is a bit sweet and it is a bit floral, sort of yellow floral-ish, and the vanilla started to come out, and something a little more interesting, which might be, I don't think this version is supposed to have an incense note, but I feel like I get something like an unlit incense, you know, like incense sticks in a box, you know, like when you walk into an incense shop and you can smell it, but it's not been lit, so it's not smoky, but a little hint of that as well. And it, I don't know, I just kind of really enjoyed it, and I didn't fall in love. Like, this wasn't the point that I had to have it, but I was fascinated by it, and I wanted to get to know it. And that's when I thought, right, I really need to get a sample. And I managed to do a sample swap with a lovely lady on Instagram. So I sent her some of my Rue Cambon, and she sent me a really generous decant of number 22, which over the last couple of weeks I have emptied, because I just, as soon as I had the decant and I wore it, and I really saw how lovely and rich and sweet it went. And I love that transition from this. Let's do another spray. I love that transition because I'm not necessarily instantly in love with it. When I smell it like that, it is quite sharp, you know, it's almost like chemical, sort of like a sweet hairspray, like sugared hairspray. So it's not necessarily amazing from the get-go, but as it warms up on the skin, I just really fell in love with it. So I just became obsessed, and I had to have it. And I managed to get this bottle, this gigantic MF of a bottle, brand new but no box, on eBay for £170. I think they sell for, is it nearly £400 now full retail on these? Something like that. So very happy with that. I don't need no box. I just want the juice. And I love that I can drown in this. So that arrived today. It made my day. I'm covered in it. Let's just have a little catch up with you. Barb didn't love her sample of Comet. Okay, yep. There's definitely mixed reviews. I would say I didn't love it. I didn't dislike it. So, yeah. What did M say? I just tried Les Exclusives for the first time last week, late to the party. Yeah, I mean, I just think that they're nice, and I understand why people don't get into them straight away, because there's so many other shinier, blingier objects out there. And I think for me, I've only come back round to the Les Exclusives because I've just got so sick of all the new niche shit, of all these harsh aroma chemicals, which I know I'm always banging on about, so I won't dwell on it. So sick. Most new releases are crap in my opinion. I can't even be bothered. I just don't care. All these new brands that are coming out, and you just don't know anything about them, and they're just like, suddenly this brand comes out of nowhere, and they think they can charge £200-300 a bottle with no history, nothing. And you send a few bottles out to people, get a little bit of hype going, and you see it in the Facebook groups, everyone's buying it because apparently it's amazing, and then everyone's selling it because it's not that amazing. And yeah, I'm kind of done with it all. So I'm going a little bit back to more basic but more classic perfumery. John says, apart from our very youthful middle age, do you think you've all fallen into a love for Chanel of late, because most stuff out there is pure guff? And John is just saying exactly what I said there. 1922. I know 22 came out in 22, but was Chanel number 5 20 or 21? Coromandel, hello, GNZLRMR. Coromandel is not for me. I haven't tried it in many years, but it's very heavy on the patchouli, which is not my cup of tea. I remember getting a sample. I got a decant of it because I heard there was a chocolate note, and I was really into gourmands at this point. And then when I got it, Coromandel, I was like, don't get no chocolate, I don't like this, because it was just so much patchouli. Tracy says Coromandel is one of my favourites. Christy's here, she says, hi friends. I feel the same about Comet. I didn't love it or hate it. The opening smells like fresh pack of disposable diapers. Well, at least it's a fresh pack, not used ones. Not bad, but do I want to smell like that? I'm guessing not. Baza! Hello, Barry. So good to see you. Emily says, yep, agree, Claire. They're just cashing in. Baza, says John. How the devil are you? So good to see Baza here. Saying hello to everybody. Chanel number 5 is so bad, says an untouchable. Yeah, it's not for me. I don't think we can say it's bad. I mean, of course you can say it's bad. I'm not going to say it's bad because it stood the test of time. So, you can't argue with the hundreds of thousands of customers that love Chanel number 5. I have no issue with it. Smelling it on someone else, absolutely fine. But I just find it a little much, a bit too heavy. I have tried some of the flankers in the shops, not properly, but I've tried low. That was quite nice. I'm still not 100% me, but I mean, I haven't tested it properly. Like, I obviously now have tested 22, so who knows? I'd quite like to try some of those flankers, like Premiere, low, maybe the EDT. Chanel number 5 is just a lady from another time. Yes, definitely. Absolutely. I feel a bit out of breath. I don't know why. I'm going to take a drink. So I was hoping that number 22 was going to show up today, but I didn't know for a fact. And I was holding off spraying my perfume because I thought, well, I want to wear 22 if it arrives. And then I thought, it's not looking like it's coming because it got to, I don't know, like 2 p.m, 3 p.m, I can't remember. The postman hadn't come. I kept looking out for his van, like you do. And I thought, no, it's not happening. And in my head, I thought, I bet if you wear another perfume, you'll jinx it and he'll turn up. And I was right. So what I did was I put on beige. So I put on some Chanel beige. I wore it down here and all the way around here. And within half an hour, the doorbell goes, and it's my postman with a package, and of course it is number 22. Now, beige and 22 don't have much in common, apart from maybe sort of the sweetness. But yeah, they don't have too much in common, really, although they're florals. But beige I find is very powdery floral musk, honeyed. Whereas 22 obviously opens up with that sharp fizziness and then warms up with the ylang ylang. I think there's some other, I think it's a rose, who knows. Does anyone know the notes of 22? Do feel free to share. I feel like it's probably there must be a citrus, bergamot or something. Probably rose, definitely ylang ylang, mana. And what I'm trying to get to is, I was wearing beige, and then I was thinking, well, number 22 is not going to work with this if it does arrive. And then I ended up, so I was able to wear number 22 here because I had nothing. I kept this arm free just in case 22 turned up. 22 turned up. Tuberose in 22. Yes, thank you. And I think is it jasmine, or am I mixing up things? I think I might be mixing things up. Yeah, so I put 22 here, and then a few hours later, beige had worn down. It was just this lovely, soft, fluffy, powdery, almost like a sweetened musk, honey sweetened musk. And I thought 22 is going to work with this, you know. So I did 22 on here, and it absolutely works. I'm not saying this is a layering combo, like I'm going to launch it, I'm going to do a video, layering combos you have to try. That's not happening. But it happened to, in my opinion, work. And so then I did 22 around here as well. So I'm wearing beige, old beige, hours old beige with 22 on top. And in my opinion, it smells really good. There's nothing jarring, it's nothing weird. It smells great. So if you've got beige in 22, maybe give it a go. If you don't go out and buy them just to do that, because that would just be stupid. Has anyone ever bought perfumes just so they can do a layering combo someone recommended? I must know. Do tell me. I have not done this, by the way. But, I mean, I have bought things with the idea of layering them. But cheap things, like Choco Musk. No, I didn't buy that to layer, but that is quite a nice layering one. I bought from the same company, I think it's is it Al Rehab? I bought their white musk, and that was just to add a musky base to stuff. And then I just left it in a drawer because it was a bit soapy. But has anyone ever bought a perfume or perfumes just to layer based on someone's layering recommendations? Do let me know. Hey Alicia, good to see you. That's a huge bottle of 22. Oh, Luke Perfume. I was just watching because I was talking about vintage perfumes. I was just watching a couple of your videos. I was wondering, did you use this book for your to help you with your video? Because I noticed quite a few. It might just be coincidence, I don't know. But as I was reading this book, I noticed quite a few of the fragrances that you brought up in your video kind of matched with what's in here and the chronological order of it. Anyway, I really enjoyed your video. If you like vintage perfumes, go follow Luke Parfums. Really nice videos about vintage perfumes, which is great. And I think we need more vintage perfume videos. So I might have to do some myself, but first I've got to wait for my order to arrive. Oh, I watched, you talked about Chantilly as well. I'm kind of thinking about Chantilly, but I wouldn't mind getting a really old, a Houbigant one if I could. I think I had a miniature of a Houbigant Chantilly, but I gave it to my friend because she remembered it from something, maybe from her mum or something, so I let her have that. But I kind of wouldn't mind just a miniature, I think, or something of Chantilly. Alexandra Fleming says, yep, single note Demeter pineapple. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, totally makes sense. Luke says, thank you so much for the mention. Actually, no, but I'm familiar with the book. I'd love to own it. Yeah, it's a really nice book, actually. Perfume, A Century of Scents. You literally, this is the one I said earlier, you can read this one start to finish. And not that I've done it yet, but I really want to, because it's just very readable. So it's not one, you can dive into it to find particular references to perfumes, but it reads more like a book that you would want to read front to back, rather than these ones that you can just dip into, where this is such a nice book, this gold edging and stuff. These books here where you can just find the perfume you want to read about. And the same with the one from Sarah McCartney and Samantha Scriven. This one has lots of nice pictures as well, but you can just go and find the perfumes you want to read about, which is nice as well. Good to just have as a reference, but none of them are fully comprehensive. So I'm trying to read about Joy from Jean Pateau. Eau de Joy is the one I really want to find out about, because that's the one that I've got coming from eBay. I've read a bit, I've learnt a bit about Joy. It came out early 1930s, about 1930, 1931. It was the most costliest perfume in the world, and it was just being marketed at the time of the Depression. And of course, even in a depression, there are still rich people who can afford, very expensive things. That's the way of the world. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. And so there were people rocking this ridiculously expensive, comparatively, fragrance, because at the time I think it was $35 or $65 for the small bottle. But back in those days, you could probably get a house for that. Well, not quite, but you know what I mean. I just find it all fascinating, the connecting the history, because you can read the history and then you can smell the perfume. So it's an extra sensory experience, because if you can read about perfume and that's enjoyable, and you can smell perfume and that's enjoyable, but put the two together and put a history lesson to it as well. It's great. Like, what's wrong with me? I'm the geekiest. I know we're all geeks. We're all geeks. Luke says Chantilly is lovely, soft, powdery and vanillic. I have the current formula. Yeah, and I've seen the current formulas. It's very affordable. I think I'm looking at one at £15 on eBay. Barry says Chantilly lace and a pretty face. Oh, hang on, we've got to sing this. Chantilly lace and a pretty face and a ponytail, hanging down, a wiggle in her walk and a giggle in her talk. Yeah, make the world go round. Always nice to see Barry. So I'm probably running out of steam already. I think I've covered what I wanted to cover is basically show off my massive bottle of Chanel 22 and just sharing the joy of owning it. Like, one of the things I really want to do is explore all the different versions of 22, which is so sad. But especially before the bottle arrived, because I was craving it so much and I pretty much used up my decan, I was looking at pure parfums of 22 on eBay, and they were like really expensive, and almost twitching at the trigger to get them, which is ridiculous. I don't need to do that, but I really just want to explore all these different formulations. It's just interesting to me. Excuse me, tonic water's a bit fizzy. Oh, LB is here. She is in the house. Lizzie Bean. Bugger, I'm late. Well, you could have said, I'm sorry, miss, for my sloppy timekeeping. You have to stay behind and do some lines. Hey Peter, 22, so effervescent. Yes, absolutely, it's so effervescent. Where did I spray it? Yeah, oh, it's sherbety. Yeah, I'd say more than champagne, it's more like lemon sherbet. Oh, it's nice. Yeah, even the opening is so nice. But then I do love it when the vanilla comes out, and that sort of hint at incense and the florals. So good, so nice. So happy to have it. I literally want to shower in it or drink it. Very, very happy. I'll probably spray more on. And then, you know what? I'm going to do it now because I'm going to bed in a minute anyway. Spray more on. drown in it, and I'll wake up smelling of the warm vanillic floral dry down, because unfortunately I'll be waking up at 5:55, I think, but I'm working from home, so roll out of bed, start about 6:15, roll out of bed, click the computer on, make a coffee, feed the cat, and then start working, and then I'll go and do my shower and hygiene stuff once I've started work. So it's a privilege bonus of working from home. Fucking love it. Can't complain. So yeah, I think I'm done. Sorry, Lizzie, you turn up and then I'm buggering off. It's nothing personal, I promise. Don't think I've ever seen 5:55 a.m. But I'm not calling you lazy, because you work a lot. You do a lot, Liz. So if you happen to not have to get up that early, I think that's a good thing. Right, that is it then. I am going to go off. I'll probably watch a little bit of Dexter on Netflix, because I'm loving that. I've got into that quite recently. Watch a little bit, maybe one episode of Dexter, and then off to bed. So good night, everyone. Thank you for coming along, and I will see you all very, very soon. Bye.